So here's everything I learned working with 81 agencies and helping them all land their first client. So for about the last 3 months, I have been locked in my room doing, what you might ask. And it was answering all the questions, putting out all the fires in the RSC's First Client Challenge, which was the 81 agencies that I worked with. Yep. And being in these trenches taught me a lot of lessons. But in this video, I'm just going to break down, the 6 to 8 key lessons that I learned. And lesson number 1 is that you are not special in any way, shape, or form. This is a very good thing, right? No matter your age, gender, ethnicity, economic situation, experience, or knowledge, you can still see success the exact same. I got a 51% on a school exam. I was addicted to video games. I had terrible social anxiety. I was out of shape. I didn't have that much money, and it never stopped me. So it will never stop you. Lesson number 2 is that simple scales and that fancy fails. So I used to do outreach on 4 platforms. I used to split test men and women, have different scripts, and just none of it was working at all. And I made a switch. I picked one niche, I had one script, and I did one channel of outreach. It took a while to get results, but when results happened, I knew exactly why. And then I could replicate it and scale up and up and up and up. Because when you have everything scattered, you have no clue what's actually working. So you can't create repeatable systems to consistently get results. And do one thing, do it good. Even Marcus Aurelius agrees. If you look at this quote, concentrate every minute like a Roman, man on doing what's in front of you, precise, genuine seriousness, tenderly, willingly, with justice, and freeing yourself from all other distractions. Yes, you can. Do everything as if it were the last thing you're doing in your life, and stop being aimless. Stop letting your emotions override what your mind tells you. Stop being hypocritical, self-centered, irritable. You can see how few things you have to do to live a satisfying, reverent life. Basically, what this quote means is focus on the fucking thing in front of you, and that's what you have to do. So cut the fat. Lesson number 3, ask questions to learn how and not what. So I'm sure you've heard this fishing analogy where if you give a man a fish, you can feed him for a day. If you teach him, you can feed him for life. And this applies especially in business. Because chances are you started a business to be an autonomous individual with financial freedom. So stop relying on handouts. It's completely contradictory. You can't revert to your old habits and expect a different result. So instead, find the recipe for what you actually want. Learn how to fish. And then by doing that, you will never have to ask the question again. So let me open this very quickly and talk a little bit about reliance. So what will happen is if you right here, so you always go to, let's say, the bank of answers, you're going to become extremely reliant on the bank. And chances are this bank is going to be asking you for something in return, or they're just not going to keep giving you answers because you're going to go once, okay, and this will be free. You might go twice, okay, and it will be free again. And on this third one, it's either going to have a red X and you're screwed, or it's going to be an arrow like this and they're going to make you pay money. And if you want to learn, how to actually run an agency without paying a lot of money to get mentorship from people and have everyone answer to your beck and call, you are most likely going to need to learn how to ask effective questions. Because if you can learn how to ask an effective question, you can ask once and no, right? And if you consistently implement everything and you follow one of the other pieces of advice later on in this video about how to actually ask questions, you will be able to consistently go to the bank of answers. And because you actually apply the information that the bank of answers gives you, one, they're going to like you a lot more. And the second thing is that, the bank of answers isn't going to try and charge you. So that is really about reliance, because if you consistently go, and I see this all the time, I'll answer someone's question once and then that's fine. I'll answer it twice. And then the third time, they just want free coaching from me. And as much as, I love to help everyone out, I just can't give away my time because I have things to do. I have programs to run. It's the same way. So don't be reliant on people. Learn how to fish. You'll never have to ask again. Lesson number 4. So data must stand the test of time before it is actually going to be useful. So explain what I mean. After 75 messages, you don't have to know anything at all. You don't know if your outreach script works. You don't know what's actually going on. Even after 200, 300, you still have no clue what's going on. And to explain this, I will go back to MS Paint and show you the coin flip analogy. So I'm sure you've seen, lots of experiments where they talk about probability in coin flips. And, in one of these coin flip experiments, they started off by landing heads 8 times in a row. So if we have a counter here, and it's going to be heads right here, tails right here, and let's say heads wins 5 times in a row to kick it off, or wins 8 times in a row to kick it off, tails goes, we would say, oh, well, it's a one-sided coin. There's a 0% chance of tails. But over time, they're going to even out. right? After 1,000, it might be, completely equal, right? They're going to be equal like this. But at this small data set, we actually have no clue what's going on. It's the same way with your data. Because if you, are saying your data is valid after, 75 messages where you don't get any appointments, maybe the meetings were going to come 3 times in a row in the messages after that, and you have a really good script. The point is that you really don't know anything until you've actually put in the numbers. In order to test things, you must go in and then assess the situation, right? So another analogy, if you've seen the book Ready, Aim, Fire, it is going to be like a sniper shot. Instead of, or getting in the pool as an example, right? You're not just going to dip 1 foot into the pool over here, right? If you actually want to see what's going on, you got to jump all the way into the pool, see what's going on in the pool, and then look up, reassess, see what's going on after. Or if you're going to shoot a bullet, you got to shoot it and then see what's going to happen after. But you cannot see whether or not something works until you've gone all in and actually put in the right amount of data in order to see it work. And this happens a lot with outreach because it's one of those things that will get in the way, right? And the answer to this is just to shoot. So the next thing is that speed is everything. So faster you do something, quicker you know whether it works or not. And this ties in with the analogy that I just gave, right? So Dylan, he was in a 25K program, and on one of the first days of the program, he was told to run ads. And as he came to run ads, he was saying, hey, let me do $20 every day. And the person running the program said, no, right? Don't do $20 a day. That's stupid. Do $200 a day, right? And that's a lot of money, right, to run ads. And Dylan's first immediate reaction was, hey, well, why would I do $200 a day on ads? That's a lot. Like, I'm not going to be consistently spending that. And the answer to this question, which I think is super relevant, is, do you want to know if it works tomorrow, or do you want to know if it works in 2 weeks? And it's a really good point, right? When you go all in on something, you can know whether it works a lot faster than if you, la-di-da-di-da, have your foot half dipped in the pool type thing. So you really just have to go after it. And lesson number 6 is the ability to ask good questions. So in the first client challenge, there were a lot of questions. And like I said, as much as I love to be an answer bank and help out the people, I have time of the day. I've got things to do. I've got, people to see, busy, right? And I can't answer every single question. And the people who always ask the most questions weren't necessarily always the ones who got the best results. In a majority, right, people who asked a lot of questions did get a lot more answers, so chances are they're going to do better. But the best people weren't the ones who asked the most questions. It was always the people who asked good questions. So what makes a actual good question? There's 2 things, right? It's looking with existing resources before asking the question, and then bringing potential solutions to the table when you ask a question. And I promise you, when you do this, it will become a lot easier, because when you actually ask the question, person you're speaking with will give you, a better answer a lot faster, and they'll have way more context on the situation. So if I was having a prospect I didn't know how to respond to, they said, email me this, and I don't know how to respond, and let's say I wanted to ask somebody, I would go, hey, so I had this prospect who said he wants me to email them, but I wasn't quite sure what to do. Here are the things that I found so far. So, the first thing I could do is email them a proposal. I don't really think that's a good option. I could say da-da-da and give them a call. I could send them a video message. I could do this. I could do that. And the person who is answering the question will, first see the person has looked at the existing resources, so they'll know it's not a stupid question. It's a genuine question. And then they'll be able to actually decipher and have a lot of context on the situation. So properly decide what the actual best course of action is. And doing this in combination with going all in and just being a, relentless human being that just goes straight in, Kool-Aid man, run through a wall, look behind you after you've run through the wall. That is the common trait that I learned with the 81 agencies that all got their first client. And I hope the person who answers will appreciate it. And that being said, I hope the value in this video was worth the attention that I stole from you. See you guys in the next one.